Hi dear friends, welcome back to Akshadare. I'm your Devraj. So let's start reading the newspaper, and I hope you guys are enjoying the learning and same how you guys are learning great. So today is 6th October 2023. So let's see what's in today newspaper. Yes, this is the front page of Bangalore edition. Let's check once, recheck once. This is the Bangalore edition. Deepika and Arinder Pal crowned. Give FIR copy to News Click. Quote 51 killed in Russian missile strike. Ukraine. Services sector activity gathers momentum. Managers index increases in September. Ravindra Conway turns sink England. Sikkim flood death count mounts to 14. 100 people, including 22 army men, needed to be located. 11 bridges washed away. Key national highway in very bad state. 26 relief camps set up. Varuna Mitra registers spike in calls for spammers. No evidence against Sisodia except for a statement, assist LCD. Norway's John Posse wins Nobel for Literature. Namayatri launches disability-friendly services. Features include allowing users to disclose disabilities and their profiles and personalizing assistance from drivers. There is also an interface for those with unusual impairment. Habitual offender arrested for robbing elderly women. Police recover gold valuables worth 25.9 lakh from him. Ajar Bajar fair at Christ today. Woman found dead under mysterious circumstances. Family alleges murder by husband. Biker knocked down by BMTC bus. ED search and properties of Congress leader. Tenders for tunnel roads soon. DKS BBMP has called a short-term tender for a detailed feasibility study and interventions, including tunnel roads, grade separators, and a widening of routes in 12 high-density corridors. Tunnel road project proposal has been opposed by civic activities and urban mobility experts. Civil society groups protest against raids on journalists. Srirangapatna Dasra from October 16. Second tranche of settlement for IMA investors cleared. Investors fill in details of their deposits before submitting them to the Commercial Street Police in Bangalore. Misappropriation of funds. CBI registers FIFA against unidentified case for your officials. ED attaches assets worth 2.77 crore in power bank app scam case. HC expresses concern over uncontrolled feeding of street dogs in public places. Asks state government about the implementation of the Animal Welfare Board of India's guidelines for caregivers of street dogs and animal birth control program. Ex-mayors of Mysore for raging heritage buildings. A moving bus stop to highlight need for female mobility. A collapsible mobile bus stop, an initiative of Ali Serona, will journey through the city this month, hoping to demonstrate how the transportation needs of the informal sector can be met. Long, endless wait for victims of IMA scam. The scale of the IMA Ponzi scam, which was busted in 2019, is estimated to be around 1,400 crore. Many families that had invested their life savings continue to wait for the return of at least some of what they have lost. Imran Govar and KV Adityabad was talk to the victims and check on the status of the proof. Former techies Austin Nasu, Nikita Astor, and Jesse Wan are in Bangalore for their tech roast show this weekend. The government to pay 7.5 lakh compensation in cases of unnatural death in prison. State facing green drought in several parts with nil or severely reduced yield, says Revenue Minister. Central team urged to understand impact of rainfall deficiency on agriculture rather than looking at standing crop. Health exports seek ban on firecrackers. Dasara committee seeks sponsorship for Anada Habba. State files petition before CWMA seeking review of order on water release to Tamil Nadu. Cabinet for filing cases against officials involved in go down scam. To carpool or not to carpool in Bangalore? That is the question. Transport Minister Ramalinga Reddy's clarification that there is no ban for now on carpooling aggregators has not cleared the confusion on where the law stands on the issue. A file photo of traffic at Silk Board Junction and Metro Rail work in progress in Bangalore. A word through little highs. The upcoming edition of the New Literature Festival 2023 attempts to address the word of children through literature. To be or not to be, the tale of humans in the city. Karnataka in focus. Significance of Pattada Gombe. Doll display in many states. Traditions are in different use. Gombe Totti at places. Palace. Ranghana property repertory and dolls. Mysore is all dolled happa Dasra. The dolls are either made of wood or clay, a testament to the times when the city had many potters and clay artisans, keeping a tradition alive. Suma Krishna, a homemaker in Mysore, has an exhaustive collection of dolls. Is a die-hard Bombay Abba enthusiast. Karnataka cabinet approves 33% quota for OBCs in the ULB elections. A panel headed by former Judge K. Bhaktavatsala recommended political representation for OBCs in urban local bodies. HC orders further probe into death of violinist Bala Bhaskar. Malayalam actor detained in a Chennai airport in rape case. National unity, a three-dimensional view. Equality and identity. Let's read this editorial page written by Verghese K. George. India's national unity evolved over more than a century through political and social movements and legal and constitutional designs. This involved intense battles and wise compromises among constituent groups. The national identity thus constituted developed along three dimensions. The first dimension is the search for harmony and justice among castes. The second is harmony of religious communities, and the third is a common ground among various regional identities. These three dimensions can be alternatively labeled as Hindu unity, Hindu Muslim unity, and Outland Periphery unity. A milestone in this journey was the making of the constitution, but there is a long prelude and an ongoing postlude to it. N.K. Gandhi was the primary spokesperson of the first two axes, Hindu unity and Hindu Muslim unity. He declared himself a Hindu when that category was still contested. I find peace in the Hindu religion. I studied other religions also, and I decided that whether whatever its defects and drawbacks, Hinduism alone could be the religion for me. That is what I feel, and that is why I call myself a Sanatani Hindu. He told the Guwahati session of the Indian National Congress in 1926 and held on to that belief until death. Gandhi attempted to interpret Hinduism in an increasingly inclusive manner. He insisted on its legitimacy as a historical category independent of the subcontinent continent's encounter with colonialism and other religious traditions. Gandhi assumed that loyalty to religion was the dominant loyalty in India, writes historian Ravinder Kumar, who also notes a conspicuous absence of the language of clause during the Rowlatt Satyagraha. The three axes. Gandhi recognized that caste-based discrimination would hinder Hindu unity, which in turn would obstruct national unity. B.R. Ambedkar argued that emancipation of the displaced classes can be achieved only through their separation from the entrenched cultural universe called Hinduism. The biggest challenge in Gandhi's Hindu unity platform was the proposed separate electorate for the displaced classes. Ambedkar and the colonial rulers were on the same side of the debate on communal award in 1932. Gandhi was willing to die to enforce Hindu unity. The Pune Pact between the two leaders agreed on assuring representation for the depressed classes, but without a separate electorate. As part of the larger Hindu whole, the depressed classes would get more representation than they would have got under the proposal for a separate electorate. Reservation remains part of state policy and politics, envisaged largely as an instrument to mitigate caste-based disadvantages within Hindu society. Dalits who converted to Christianity or Islam become ineligible for reservation under the scheduled caste category. Hindu unity was non-negotiable for Gandhi, but Hindu-Muslim unity was an equally important second pillar or of national unity for him. Gandhi viewed Muslims as a distinct community, recognized their autonomy, and sought out Muslim leaders in efforts to build Hindu Muslim unity. He joined forces with the Khilafat movement, which was driven by a transnational Muslim agenda but united with Hindus in its anti imperialist edge. There are two things to which I am devoting my life: permanent unity between Hindus and Muslims, and Satyagraha, declared Gandhi. His efforts had Hindu Muslim unity by accepting them as two distinct political communities may have paradoxically helped antagonistic communal politics that would emerge in parallel. This acceptance of the cultural and religious autonomy of minorities too found its way into the constitution. The third axis of the link between the Heartland and Pepe took shape in response to the realities that the founders encountered during the making of the Constitution. During the national movement, a Hindi public sphere that emerged in the northern plains had begun to equate itself with the national, and sentiments elsewhere were ignored. Gandhi himself was a promoter of Hindi as the national language. It is up to my friends in Uttar Pradesh to have a whole India. It is up to them to have a Hindi India. The choice is theirs, said T.T. Krishnamachari, a member of the Constituent Assembly, when Hindi members insisted on imposing Hindi across the country, realizing the danger in pushing for Hindi. The question of a national language was delayed initially for 15 years and then added indefinitely. indefinitely. Article 370 gave a special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The sixth schedule gave autonomy to the tribal populations in the northeast. In 1976, considering the diverging population trends in the south and the north, interstate redistribution of Lok Sabha representation was suspended for 25 years, and then again in 2002 for another 25 years. Unidimensional pursuit. This national compact has been constantly evolving and is often interspersed with violence. Three Gandhi have been assassinated in the last 75 years. New aspirations and demands of constituent groups strained this developing compact, which manifested as the gradual unraveling of the Congress system. Coalition politics that brought together separate contrast groups was the outcome. But after 30 years of experiments, it was replaced by a new form of national consolidation that the BJP came to represent. The difference this time was that the BJP turned unity into a unidimensional pursuit. It used the Hindutva ideology to take over the Hindu India or Hindu heartland where the Gandhian national movement had flourished. The BJP unburdened itself of the task of nurturing Hindu-Muslim unity and unity of regions. On the contrary, by portraying the aspirations of the peripheries and religious minorities as a threat to the nation, it made Heartland Hindu consolidation easier and stronger than even ever before. This also entails privileging harmony and hierarchy over justice in intercaste relationships. The proponents of Hindutva suggest that the nation has been weakened, not strengthened by accommodations accorded to peripheral communities and regions, which they label appeasement. This political consolidation in the heartland got the BJP 55% of Lok Sabha seats with 37% share of the votes in 2019. This parliamentary majority has emboldened the ruling party to unilaterally change the terms with religious and regional groups, and it plans to change more. The interstate array distribution of Lok Sabha seats that is scheduled to follow the first census after 2026 will shift more power to BJP strongholds above the Vindhyas from the south, potentially enabling more unilateralism. This is projected as a new era of national unity, where fractured verdicts have become history and there is no challenge to the exercise of power by the national government. Newer forms of coercion and distortion of public discourse are required to sustain this model. An ongoing conversation. The BJP says that India's national evolution matured in 2014. Its focus has been on the single dimension of Hindu unity, which it believes renders questions of minority group rights immaterial, which its primary opponent. The Congress focuses on the other two dimensions: harmony of Hindus and Muslims and regions, understanding caste justice as fraternity, unity among Hindus had come to be seen as regressive. Calls for the disembowelment of Hinduism were claimed as a more radical position against caste discrimination. But Hindutva today is far more hegemonic than it was during Gandhi's time, and subaltern masses on whose behalf its destruction is sought are not enthused by that call. At the same time, the yearning for a fairer, equitable justice, just social order animates a subaltern castes, for instance, which is expressed around the caste survey in Bihar. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's campaign for caste justice takes on entrenched groups, most importantly liberals in his own party. Similarly, new challenges to the unity of regions over India and the impending delimitation are emerging. A renewed and a dynamic conversation along all the three axes is needed to reimpose national unity in the new era. This conversation is not about fragmentation but unification. Let's go to the next page. Next article written by Arun Gupta. Diffusing the ticking time bomb called diabetes. So let's read this article. In June 2023, a study conducted by the Madras Diabetes Research Foundation in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Union Health Ministry revealed that 11.4% of India's population or 10.13 crore people are living with diabetes and 15.3% of the population or an additional 13.36 crore people are pre-diabetic. It also found that 28.6% of the population would be considered to be obese as per the BMI measure. Consumption of ultra processed foods. According to the World Health Organization, a major reason for this is the consumption of unhealthy ultra processed foods and beverages, which are aggressively marketed, displacing traditional diets. Such foods include carbonated drinks, instant cereals, chips, fruit flavored drinks, instant noodles, cookies, ice cream, bakery products, energy bars, sweetened yogurts, pizzas, processed meat products, and powdered infant formulas. Scientific evidence shows that a diet heavy with ultra processed food and beverages are high in sugar, fat, and salt are risky and can lead to diabetes. A 10% increase in the consumption of ultra processed food a day is associated with a 15% higher risk of type 2 diabetes among adults. When food is ultra processed, its structure is destroyed and cosmetic additives, colors and flavors are added. This makes people eat more, gain weight, and heightens the risk of diabetes and other chronic diseases. Further, obesity and diabetes are key risk factors for heart disease and deaths. A study showed that those who had more than four servings of ultra processed food a day were much more at risk of cardiovascular mortality than those who took less than two servings a day. An upward trend was found for all cause mortality too, a playground for the food industry. It is reported that the sale of sugar sweetened beverages has fallen in the last 20 years in many high income countries. To compensate for the loss of sales, companies are now focusing on low and middle income countries. India is a playground for the food industry. Billions of rupees are spent on marketing and advertising ultra processed food and beverages, which leads to increased consumption by vulnerable population. While the food industry blames people for bad choices, it is not the people but the environment around them that is to blame. Marketing targets younger generations and the growing middle class, making it hard for an individual to choose healthy food options. Children, in particular, are exposed to cartoon characters and given incentives and gifts. Celebrity endorsements also determine their consumption decisions. The result is a deepening public health crisis. The ticking time bomb of diabetes, sugar sweetened beverages are a major source of added sugar in diets and put people at a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. In such a context, policy and regulatory actions are warranted. The food industry does not want any restrictions on marketing. They offer partnerships as well as arguments of economic development as stakeholders. The food industry also participates in programs such as Eat Right, making false promises. Such partnerships do not allow us to make a strong regulation that could reduce the consumption of ultra processed food and beverages. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has shown a lackluster response to the crisis and allowed a dominating role to the food industry while suggesting front of package labeling, which is still not in place. Many say that people should exercise. While this is good for health, it should be in addition to a regulatory policy and restricting the marketing of ultra processed foods and providing warning labels on junk food and beverages. Mandatory provisions. The only way the government can safeguard people from the manipulative strategies of the food industry is through a legal framework or even an ordinance. Article 123 of the Constitution, with the objective of reducing or halting the consumption of ultra processed foods. It could also include a defining healthy food, a warning label on unhealthy food, and restrictions on the promotion and marketing tactics of unhealthy food and beverages. The people must be informed of the risk of consuming such food. In this process, there is no reason to partner with the food industry that is responsible for ill health. The government of South Africa, Norway, and Mexico have recently taken Similar actions. The government of India can show its strength to regulate food labeling and marketing. Such a law will be a clear demonstration of the will of the government. The Infant Milk Substitutes Feeding Bottles and Infant Foods Act flattened the growth of commercial baby food. The proposed new law could do the same to unhealthy foods and beverages. This is an idea whose time has come. Inspiring collects. Chemistry Nobel Prize goes to trio that made artificial atoms. Let's go to the next page. Does cash take away the catch it up science awards? If doing away with money was an independent decision of the CSIR Council, that would have been acceptable. But this is a decision imposed by the government and clearly undermines the autonomy of scientific institutions. The battle for Rivaldo. Our persistent reporting on a captured elephant eventually led to his release back into the wild. And they are looking to engage with the new Maldives government on all issues, says MEA. Maldives President-elect meets Indian High Commissioner a day after saying that Indian military personnel would be asked to leave the islands. MEA officials declined to say who would be sent to represent India at Moji's swearing-in ceremony. Hospital Dean booked for culpable homicide. Center bans separatist leader Sabir Shah's output for 5 years. SC reserves verdict in review of JMM bribery case. India and Canada in talks on diplomatic stopping, says MEA. Shah calls for uniform anti-terrorism structure under NIA in all states. Political stability first for economy, says Nirmala. Supply copy of FIR to NewsClick founder. Court tells Delhi police. Council maintains that its clients have a right to get the FIR copy under Section 41D. However, the police earlier opposed the plea of the accused, claiming that the case is sensitive. Police continue to interrogate the staff members of the portal. Action against portal, a chilling attempt to silence brave voices. So court grants 80 remand of Sanjay Singh till October 10th. Their parties back AAP MP. Congress gives qualified support. India expanding censorship regime, recreating the uneven playing field. Study. The Freedom House report says that India is resorting to AI-enabled digital repression. It finds that the environment for human rights online has deteriorated in 2029 countries. The report covers developments between June 2022 and May 2023. Trinamool stages protest outside Raj Bhavan in Bengal. BJP MP says he is in favor of caste census in Uttar Pradesh. CBI books officials, others were actor visuals grabbed allegations against CBFC. IITB Dean says a vegetable policy made by student body. Cost intense insensitive. Chant Sri Stuti reap reward. Musk's ex strips headlines from news articles shared by users. British jailed for assassination attempt on Queen Elizabeth II. Russia to build a naval base in a breakaway Georgian region. Israeli forces kill two Palestinian militants in occupied West Bank. Russian missile strike kills 51 in Ukraine. Zelensky. The village of Roja and Kharkiv was struck by an Iskander missile. The attack came as Zelensky attended a summit of about 50 European leaders in Spain to drum up support from allies. At least 100 killed in attack on Syrian military academy. Bangladesh gets its first batch of uranium. Nobel laureate Yunus appears before grabbed watchdog over multiple charges. Services PMI signals September boost. Citroën unveils all new C3 aircross SUV at 9.99 lakh. September food inflation may have eased on cheaper tomato LPG. Indian IT firms set for washout year focus now on 2025. Tata Motors to reskill 50% stop by 2027 to manufacture EVs. SBI is said to be set to sell Tel SC. Adani probe began 2014. It wall. Pranay and Satvik Sairaj Chirag duo in semi-finals. Sindhu ousted. Indian men's kabaddi team beats Chinese Saipai. Seals the last four spot. Chinese women ward up Japanese challenge to retain the crown. Tarushi gets a pat from President at Purse from Sri Lanka cricket. Devika Arinder Paul and add more golden luster to India's campaign. Indian compound archery team's domination complete. And team adds bronze to our kitty. Wrestling gets its second medal. Indian women come a croppo against China in the semi-finals. Conway Ravindra stands leave England backward. New Zealand used 273 run unfinished partnership for the second wicket, hands the team a 9 wicket victory with 82 balls remaining. Root's brisk half century goes in vain for Butler's men. Ravindra underlines the efforts of the bowlers in restricting England. Pakistan eyes a buoyant start against Netherlands after warm-up debacle. Active backs struggle sharp hard and bowling unit. Shreyas gets ready for short pitched stuff. Rahul practices sweeps, reverse sweeps under slog. The intensity was high among all the batters despite the hot conditions during training. Playing in familiar pitches has its advantages, says Cummins. Newcastle tries a PSG. City has teased against Leipzig. Yeah, if it puts its weight behind Taimaka, extends his stay as head coach till June 2026. Kavirappa trying to emulate MMC Grath accuracy stains pace. It's Westbrook versus Touch Up Grey in the Mysore 2000 Guineas. Shamrock takes honors. Classics that have gone into a WC lore. The quadrennial extravaganza has produced some great cricket ever since Madan Lal bowled its first ball on a summer morning in England in 1975. The Hindu picks 10 great matches of all time. Preparing for the grey, elder mental health care comes into prominence. Governments needs to prioritize childhood cancers. How much do you know about aging populations? Now, country for old women. As life expectancy rises and birth rates decline, a nation begins to see a larger proportion of its population aging. India will soon approach a critical juncture where the proportion of the elderly will peak, placing an overwhelming strain on the working age populace. Women who generally outlive men are at the center of this crisis, as a high share of them are out of the labor force. They lack savings. They are more prone to health issues compared to men and often find basic tasks more challenging during their sunset years. They are also less aware about government schemes than men. Text and context. Last two pages. The wheat sold by FCI in the 15th weekly e-action under OMS is 1.89 in lakh crore. Incidents of stubble burning recorded in Punjab Super. Number of suspected cholera deaths in Zimbabwe 100. Number of civilians killed by Russian attack on Ukraine 49. Amphibian species threatened in India due to climate change. The slow pacing of Kannada films Toby and SSC. These two recently released films, characterized by their raw and emotional storytelling, told in an unhurried phase, has led to debates about the several debates about the relevance of slow burners in mainstream Kannada cinema. Know your English. October 5 was the Cricket World Cup 2023 opening day. This year it is India's turn to host the quadrennial flagship tournament. Here is a quiz on the tournament. This is the today newspaper, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper already. Please uh, subscribe to my channel, like and comment if you like the video. Please share with your friends, it may useful for somebody's. And I hope you guys see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.